Thank you very much for sitting with Good News Jamaica, where we concentrate on positive information and imagery about Jamaica and Jamaicans globally.
Yes,
Seen, your music has been going on continuously for a long time, and you have always carried a positive image in your music.
sure.
What is it that you're trying to do? I mean, you know, you have some slack songs too and all these things, but you stick to representing a positive image, right? Why you choose that avenue?
Well, as we say, 90% of my music is based on a positive perspective. You know what I mean? Whatever people consider as positive. You know what I mean? But the reason for that is that it's harder to do good. And I don't like things easy. It's harder to do good. That's why you will hear me sing a song like Next, where it have a positive thing to it, but it might have a rawness to it because of the words and how we pronounce and what we describe as profanity. But if you listen to the whole entire song and the concept, but it's harder to do good. And people always turn to the easy way. But what people don't understand is when you go the road that's doing good and it's harder, it opens a different type of element within you as an individual. Things that you never know that you would accomplish. You know what I mean? If you don't test yourself, if you don't push yourself, you know what I mean? How you ever know that you can accomplish this? You know? So a lot of people just accomplish a small amount of what the Almighty put on earth for them to accomplish because they choose the easy road. And if you watch from back then until now, you know what I mean, and all the information that they give and everything that they give about great advocates and great people, including the story of Christ. All of those people was ridiculed, all of those people was put under the fire. Even some of these people that we have spending on our local dollar, you know what I mean, all of these people was thrown off the boat. You know, national heroes and all of them people they put under the fire. It wasn't an easy road. But then after a period of time, then people start to fathom, you know what I mean? People start to understand. Because what affects black people is that we're coming from slavery and we're coming with a chip on our shoulder. So a lot of people gain the European knowledge and stick with that and gain with them need for gain. But they don't, after them get successful, they don't retrain their mind and tap into the root of the origin and where them coming from. So they can see things from different perspectives. Because the greatest thing on earth is to know. So if the greatest thing on earth is to know and each day you learn something, why should you shy away from knowledge? You know what I mean? So I choose the good road, which is the hard road, because especially in this time where bad is the new good, nothing that you do consider as good is intriguing enough. You understand? So that's why I take the time out to do an interview with this platform, because you say good news, and from she mentioned it earlier on, it's like it just bring a light to the face, because majority of these people who is in media, and not the typical media from the foundation media. I'm speaking about a lot of people who just pounce up on a computer and have the access to the internet and don't have journalism credentials. You know what I mean? And don't go to school for it and understand the pros and cons and understand how you bring across news. So a lot of people only thinking about the YouTube check every month, where you know the amount of views and get paid from that. So them don't mind bring across any trivial topic. And gradually, this is what the people them look for, because this is what you're feeding the people them. You know what I mean? So a lot of people don't consider about the development of human beings and the development of a particular thing that should get the chance to grow.
Tell me something now. You've traveled extensively.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you see the impact that the Jamaican culture has on the world?
Well, experiences teaches wisdom, you know. Take out my glasses for this. Experiences teaches wisdom, and as the Almighty said, where a man don't know, he cannot be held against him still. That's why I always tell the youths themselves. Knowledge is very imperative. You have to retrain your mind, you have to understand, you have to empower your brain, you understand? Because you in Jamaica, you don't travel. So you don't have that experience, you won't know. You understand? You're too near the forest, you can't see the trees in the forest. So you wouldn't know. But when I go out there and I get this experience and the Almighty bless me, so I can travel and go to all different type of places in the world and see how people, you know, love music and love dancehall and love reggae music. It just brings a different joy, it just brings a different feeling, because for me, music is the soundtrack of my existence. Before music, I was just a camouflage amongst my peers. I was just existing. But when I pounced upon music and then I started to use music to alleviate myself from stress and also impact other people, then it becomes the soundtrack of my existence and I get my right identity. Not the persona I-Octane, but Byiome Muir. I get the right identity and I can control I-Octane. Because a lot of people create a persona and lose them true self in that persona, because that persona is the thing that people love. You know, people gravitate to. You know what I mean? So a lot of people out there, because we're broken people, a lot of people, male, female, we have a lot of emotional scars and a lot of things that we don't get therapy for. So we self-treat ourselves, you know, self-medicate ourselves and create a persona and live behind it. So we live, we breathe, we do everything for that persona, because that's the persona that, you know what I mean, shift away the focus from people looking at you as the individual and dissect and see all the flaws. So I hide behind that persona, but the Almighty bless me so I can be that person as Byiome Muir, so I can, you know, channel it into I-Octane and it's a blessing. It's a blessing for, you know, go out in the world and, you know what I mean, it's a blessing. So I just give thanks. I just try my best to put a message out there. You know what I mean?
So, alright. So you've been in business and you've gone all kind of different avenues in business.
Yeah.
When you think about advice that you wish you had when you first started, what advice would that be that you would pass on to somebody getting into the business?
Yo, the only mistake, and I wish someone would tell me that the only mistake that I enter in reggae music, and I convert a mistake into lesson, so it also improved me. So at first it was like regret, but gradually it turned me into a better individual, because I convert all my mistakes into lessons. But the only mistake is that I started trying to be friends with every single person that I associated with in the music, and that bring me a lot of enemy, and it bring me a lot of pain, and it bring me a lot of, you know, ridicule, and it bring me a lot of things, because my destiny is already, you know what I mean? From the initial stage, my all is different, my birth different, me get established different. You know, a lot of people overlook it, but it's totally different. They're like different. I was the only artist who get the break who don't associate with any camp, and that never happened at the time. You understand? And I was the only artist who get break on a single. I was the only artist that not voicing for none of the major producers and still break. I was the only artist who break through this Gaza Gully pandemic, so every other young artist could have a career, because that was the gate that knew, like, if these two individuals on a rhythm, selectors would just play those songs, so every other songs would get through in the bed, because of the energy and the vibe that era was carrying. So I was the only one who, instead of go through the gate, I jumped the fence. So a lot of you would say, oh, we can enter into the venue, we don't have to go through the gate, we can jump the fence, we can cut the fence, we can go under the fence, we can go over the fence. So me enter into the business as a country youth from Clarendon, just pure laugh with everybody. But me get to understand that not every smile is a smile. And then when you start to like put friendship in everything, then you are going to always show your genuine side and you always express yourself genuinely. While people, care about say this, that, then you find out, you know, you start to get nudged by other people. You start to get nudged by other people and all these things, you understand? So, that is it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I learn, convert it, know who I can associate it with, or know who business partner, friendship, etc. etc.
So that's the lesson you've learned coming into the music, and that's the lesson you would pass on to everybody else. So,
Yeah, man.
how has the pandemic impacted your music?
Well, the pandemic impact my music in a different way in terms of um, people start to listen more than just hearing it because people have more time. I think 2020 is a year that a lot of people say is the worst year, but I think it's the realest year mankind of our era will ever see. You understand? So it's a year of purging, make people know who they are, know what the situation is about, and who successful at something, but that is not them true calling, or know that what I have on my priority list and what I prioritize I wasn't on that priority list. A lot of people come to the realization that them have a priority list and them themselves don't depend on it. I have come to that I have a lot of things that I prioritize, like kids, family, this, that, career, all type of thing, etc. etc. But I am not on the list. But just because I have things that connect I prioritize that connected to me, I feel like I'm on the list. So, those things show me a lot of things, and so it give me more time to engage with the fans them up close and personal, and kind of impact. You can see the growth in streaming, growth in communication, people start to link you direct, and you start to have that connection with your fans. So in terms of like financially, it break everybody, and traveling, and up close and personal with the fans them, but it also show character. Whosoever make it through this show character. And it also show more time we have this bag of pride and this bag of ego. The Almighty or mankind that is very evil can take away from that. This corona thing and this pandemic thing. Really just get rid of class and status. So I might walk in the building as I-Octane, but before pandemic you would get a better reaction. People would like, but people have bigger problems. People find us, oh sure. So you become the least of their person. So you start to understand yourself, because sometimes artists or people in the spotlight feel like they make themselves, like them just exist without people, like it's not a collective effort. So sometimes we get lost and feel like it's not a collective effort. So when you start to realize, say, I can listen to your songs, but I can still walk past it. Then you start to realize, say, what I never consider is important is very imperative. So, you know what I mean?
Interesting. I like that outlook on things. Now, last thing I want you to do, tell me what you feel about the concept of Good News Jamaica, that we're spreading positive information about Jamaica and Jamaicans globally.
Good News Jamaica, I think, I don't know who created this platform, but I think this is one of the greatest platforms that created it. Because, as you said, what is the new? And it's not about we, because we're on the part of decelerating. What about the kids that are accelerating? You know what I mean? It's not about us. So Good News Jamaica is projecting integrity, but not singular. It's plural. When I was growing up, integrity, manners, respect was plural, right? So my mother don't deal with her neighbor. I will never deal with her neighbor. But I can walk past that lady. My mother would school me in front of her and say, don't do that. So integrity was plural, where people, you grow with that. But now it's singular. I just want me and my kids and my family to have that amongst us. And I don't care about you over there, if you fail or you make it. We have to understand, say, one family cannot exist. You understand? So when you guys doing this and putting a positive message, you guys could create a platform where instead of asking me this message, you ask me something about when last you have sex, Octane, which baby mother you have, funny, you know what I mean? So, and you have you have people with trivial minds, and trivial minds think trivial things, so they would say, yeah, right, you know? But it take time for, you might put out an interview like this and you maybe get minimal views, but the greatest thing is that you put in positive things about it, and if you can impact one person, it's very, very good, because that one person can be the next Marcus Garvey. You will never know. You understand? So people get too lazy now. Like good is too hard for them. That's why we have so much crime, so much violence. That's why you say a man can walk around a church and do them things. It's like people don't even have regards for the Almighty. A man do anything everywhere. One time when I grew up, although a man a bad man, a man would call us in the community and say, yo, this is a gun, and I use it to kill people. The last person that I took that person's life, every day my dreams of that person, stay away from it. This that I'm smoking, stay away from it. You know, so you don't have those mentors anymore. You understand? That's why people just do anything, anywhere. No regards for life, no regards for respect, boundaries, all of those things. You know what I mean? So because people are not putting out positive things out there. You know?
Thank you for checking us out on Good News Jamaica TV for content that informs, inspires, and transforms. Please like, share, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more positive Jamaica content. Walk good.